on a Monday.
Hey.
I don't have my glasses, so I'm not going to be able to read the comments. But
That's all right. I'll read them on here. Oh, someone's joined us already. Let's see who it is. Who is it?
So, ladies, hello and welcome to the Black Swan Relationship Academy. World's Coach Unique finds who's just joined us. Here on my right is Coach Yvonne, our marriage coach, and here on my left is Coach Unique, who is our head coach and style concierge and online dating expert and all things men. Okay.
How do you do, ladies? How are you doing?
We're having another live as promised. It's been a while. We were supposed to do them every week, but Coach Magdalena is back. And she'll be taking over the Mondays as usual, but that doesn't mean we won't be coming on maybe in the afternoons and just giving you some special love. But today we're talking about secrets. We're talking about secrets, and while we're talking about secrets, we're going to be having the secrets of a man's mind coming up on the 21st of May, 7 p.m. BST. And for the VIPs, we're going to have some gentlemen answering some unfiltered questions. Hello. Ooh. So it's going to be fun. So make sure you get the VIP. But today, in the theme of secrets, I think we're going to have a secrets month.
Yes. Secrets of a man's mind and the secrets
of a woman's past.
Yes.
So I was just talking to a friend yesterday and we're discussing how difficult it is. I was talking to a guy friend yesterday. We're discussing how difficult it is for women to really tell their truth sexually, to tell their truth about where they've been emotionally, the things that they've experienced. Because there's so much shame in the game.
Yeah.
So, at some point we had a scenario in the academy at some point where, a couple was dating, and we're going to see what Coach Nick has to say and Coach Yvonne. And, the lady has a beautiful, colorful past. And
really colorful.
Yeah. Nice, colorful
We might have to explain what you mean by colorful, though.
Okay, I'm going to let Coach Unique explain what she means by what I might mean by colorful. But let's put it this way. She had a previous relationship. She was very naive, very sweet little flower. Met an incredible guy who treated her like a goddess and also introduced her to a whole different world sexually. And that world created this openness, and that really released her into sexuality. Some of us may judge her, some of us may not, but regardless, she kind of went into this world, but eventually found herself a way back to herself, into a place called balance when that relationship ended. And, now she's found somebody amazing, great, and perfect. And, now the little secret it's gonna come out. Right? And so we're gonna be talking about what she should do, what we think she should do. Hey. And basically how she's gonna address this secret, how she should address it, and how we should address secrets. How should we come to a relationship from day one? I mean, some of us have secrets or things that we're ashamed of. It might not even be a secret. It might be a chronic illness that we live with. It might be,
a history of are we allowed to say this word online? Abortions? A history, or maybe you might have had an abortion in the past, or termination, or just things that you've experienced that you're not too.
You're not trying to be out here in these streets singing and dancing about it. Maybe you worked through the pain, and I think terminations is what we call them here. Are particularly painful. So things like terminations or sexual past or STIs.
And it could also be that you may have a chronic illness that is not going to allow you to behave and perform. You could have Tourette's, for instance, and it's medication that is keeping you balance, so you're not every minute jerking and swearing. It doesn't always have to be something that's deviant,
something that you're living with, and it might not even be about you. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they revealed to me that one of their children is deeply autistic, and it took them a while to reveal that to a person that they were dating. It took a lot of courage for them, because obviously that is somebody that is a full-time thing for them. So we all have things that we think, there's nothing to be ashamed of. None of these things are worthy of shame, that I'm not into guilt shaming and shaming people. For sure, it's something, because I suffered from shame such a long time. But we do have things that we've been made to feel ashamed for. And for instance, his child being, battling and, you know, seemed to be a thing where,
Yeah.
you know, he felt he had to sort of take his time and explain.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we, you know, that's life, you know, even divorces. Sometimes you have to explain why you have an ex that's crazy, you know.
And even just the shame of divorce, isn't it?
Yes.
Because again, coming from the church culture, divorce becomes something that you're ashamed of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you literally caused to happen or it just happened to you. And we have this shame as women that we carry around for so many things, not necessarily just on an emotional level, on a mental level, on a physical level. There's just so many things that we carry around with the name shame and guilt.
Yeah.
And some things, those are the things that end up making us closer and not want to say anything, and we'll take them to our grave, right?
Very much so, because at the end of the day, because we judge ourselves so harshly, we think that those who hear what we've got to say, they too are going to judge us. And then not only will they judge us, but they will shun us, or, you know, they won't want to be within our sphere anymore. And so because of it, we then go into this self-preservation mode and think that the best thing to do is, you know what, don't speak it, don't say anything.
Yeah.
But going back to what Chengi said with regarding, you know, having a child who has a physical or mental problem, as a parent, you automatically believe, well, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
What was it that I did? What, you know, could we or I have done anything to that attributed to this? Is there anything I can do now to make it right, etc.? But when it comes to our children, we want to protect them, we want to take care of them, and when this has happened to them, we don't seem to be able to forgive ourselves because it isn't within our wheelhouse, it's not within our control, you know. So we don't want to share it because you think, I'm going to be judged. They're going to say, what did you do wrong? What, you know, when the mother was carrying, what did she do? Where did she go? What did she eat? And, you know, there's so many different connotations to it. And the guilt is almost mind-numbing that we, and the sad thing is we do it to ourselves, because when you tell somebody, they're oh so helpful. They want to help you, you know? It's...
So, and I absolutely agree, because I'm listening to us, and I'm hearing the three culprits: guilt, shame, fear.
Yes.
You know, I'm afraid of rejection, I'm afraid of judgment. And then we've got judgment to contend with. So in this instance with this young lady whose story I just gave you a recap of, whenever we have a secret behind it, are often are more sinister demons.
Yeah, exactly.
A secret in our lives usually means it's something that we have not reconciled with ourselves first.
True.
Because for me, this young lady, and I want to hear your opinion or anything that you ladies are going to add, it's never, we, like Yvonne was saying, we think, oh, he's going to judge me, and then you don't get judged, right? You actually get sympathy. So whenever we have a secret to tell, or something in our past or present that we're not proud of, my first question is, have you dealt with the culprits? Have you dealt with your guilt around it? Have you dealt with the shame around it? Have you dealt with the fear around it?
Yeah.
Because once you get rid of that, it stops being a secret. It becomes information about you that somebody needs to know or doesn't need to know, right? And it'll be something that when it is asked of you to tell, you're telling it like you're telling any other story in your life.
Yeah.
You're not telling it as if you're being found out. And I think when we, and the fear is in losing, right?
Yeah.
So you have to deal with the fear element of, okay, if this person leaves, they have every right to that.
Yeah.
And I'll be okay. I'll bounce back. I'll snap out of it, right? And to be honest, if you meet somebody and they have a problem with your secret, even though you have shown up as a high value feminine swan, loved on them, showed up, done what you got to do, been the best version of yourself, and they're like, I can't live with your secret, honey, this is not on you. This is not on you. This is not on you. Okay. And I think we need to be okay to say, you know what, that's about them. That's their story. Those are their demons. Those are their projections. And we have to allow them to have them But the problem and the damage, and I think what you were saying as well, is that whenever somebody rejects us for what is true to us in our past, which, let's face it, they wouldn't love you as much as they do if you hadn't gone through it. You wouldn't be the woman that they want to court, date, and spend time with, or even marry without those obstacles, those things, whether making of you, whether you suffer from them, heard from them, they all produce this woman.
I've actually got an analogy that we can think of. I think that we all relate to. It's like you can't have chocolate cake without accepting that chocolate has to go into it.
Yes.
Chocolate has to be taken down from coconuts and and you kind of do the seed, de-seed it, crush it, blah, blah, blah. It goes through crushing, it goes through all that stuff. You have to get the egg. The chicken would have had to lay the egg and all that. We forget about the ingredients that go into making the women that we are. And we have to accept it as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you saying, I want chocolate cake, but can it not have chocolate in it?
Oh, this cake is yummy, but I don't like chocolate. And I agree. And I feel like until we have that mindset, that look, good, bad, and different, it's brought me to this woman. I had a conversation with somebody who said to me, oh, you know, you're somebody that thinks in boxes. And I was like, oh, mate, I'm just... So I kind of felt like there's no way, you know. But then when I thought about it, I kind of, after I got over my offense, I thought about it and I was like, I do think in boxes.
Yeah.
But my boxes are pure platinum boxes.
It's how they're packaged, right?
And my boxes, they're made of pure platinum. And they've got like diamond bows, my boxes are. But, you know, it wasn't I realized I was fighting the wrong cause.
Yeah.
It wasn't about me fighting the box cause. If that is the experience of me, because I happen to be a stoic thinker. I'm a stoic with a pinch of hedonism, but but by and large, I believe there's a right way, a right moment, a right person, a right thing. I truly believe there's the wrong way and the right way, but I believe that it's not so simple. So, you know, where stoics believe it's right, it's wrong, you know, I'm like, okay, this is right for sure and this is wrong for sure, but it's not so simple. We didn't get down these roads. So I'm happy to embrace the complexity and come to maybe a less stoic perspective. But at the end of the day, what this person was experiencing from me was that stoic element that there must be structure, there must be boundaries to the way that we think. And thereafter, I realized I'm not actually being criticized. I chose to use that to criticize me.
True.
You know, because maybe I feel limited in some way, shape, or form. And after a while, when I sat down with myself, I said to myself, look, those boxes have made the woman you are.
Yes.
Take it or leave it. Like the person that this person is talking to and highly admires, because this person really admires me. So they were not meaning to poke at me. I was like, okay, but you admire the way these boxes have formed me. I'm the box girl to you. So I'm not going to go and try and change. You just have to accept the boxes, because I'm not going to change. You know that Whitney Houston song, I won't change my colors for you. You know, like you either come with the box girl and you find your own platinum boxes, or you go hang with free-flowing, you know, people. So I always believe, as we always teach at the Academy, that the issue is always within you. It's your guilt, it's your shame, it's your fear. And yes, you didn't put it in there.
No.
You didn't put those things.
I think that's another thing we have to really talk about, is the fact that you did not put what is in your box, in your lot, as it were, because there's cultural influences. Because as women, shame, guilt, fear, that's ingrained in us from the very beginning, because you're a woman, so you have to. So you're a girl, so you have to close your legs. No legs up after 10 p.m. That's what all our grandmas and our moms have always told us. Like, no, if you want to marry the guy, so you keep everything tight together, don't swear, don't do. We're told all of this. So the minute you veer off a little bit, then come the guilt, then come the shame, then come all of this. So I think even before we even address what this young lady is going through, it's really about addressing what your cultural boxes are anyway.
Yes.
Because within your boxes, you come with your other boxes. Because you're Zimbabwean, you're Jamaican, I'm Zimbabwean. But even if we're Zimbabwean, we're still from totally different cultures. So I've got my own little boxes that my mom told me. You've got yours. And it's in now understanding, look, I like my little boxes and this is how they come. Yes, I have these aunties that are talking in my head most of the time. Like, what were you doing in the first place? So talking of which, I was watching on Nollywood, Blood Sisters. And they were talking about this whole thing. The girl was saying, I don't want to get married to this man. But the mom comes and says, do you know what shame you're going to bring to the family?
Yes, I remember watching the Blood Sisters.
And putting all the guilt, like, we have come this far to bring you here. We're staying in a suite, not even just ordinary hotel room. And now you want to shame us by not marrying the very man who put us in there in the first place. And it made me realize that this started a long time ago. And on your way to your healing, you're always going to meet someone who helps you elevate to the next level. So I think what this young lady is facing is someone who's helping her face her own demons. Helping her face her own demons in accepting her past, accepting everything and every part she is, and being okay with that. Because at the end of the day, if she then decides, okay, I'm going to tell him, she should come from a space where she's dealt with the fear, she's dealt with the guilt, she's dealt with the shame. If he leaves, he leaves. If he stays, we're going to build something beautiful.
I love that.
So
I love that.
That, you know, what you said, I agree 100% with everything that you said. But here's another thing where my phrase is cut yourself some slack. And this is what I really would like women to do, is cut themselves some slack. And for the simple reason is, when you talk about something that is ingrained, let's say it started from the age of 5 and you now may be 35, 45, 55, 65 upwards or even lower. That has taken a hell of a long time to be built in you. And why I'm saying cut yourself some slack, you're not going to get over it like that. It's going to take time for you to tell yourself, I am worthy. I am worth more. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a success. And the things that you're going to have to tell yourself so that you can get out of bed some mornings. You're going to have to do that, and you're going to have to do the work. And the best place for anyone to do work in getting healed is do it with people who love you. Don't do it on your own. The three of us are here, and if one of us has got a problem, we can sit and we can talk about it, and then when we finish, we go home. And we can go home in the confidence that, guess what? I've sat with 2 women who have given me the best advice that money can buy. Not only have they done that, but they've loved on me. They've told me with truth. They haven't beaten me with the information, but I've been stroked more than I've been stricken. Do you get what I mean? And that's not done. And sometimes when you go to a friend and you tell them what you're going through, they're gonna judge you, and then all that has done is just made you feel worse than when you came out of it. So if you've got something, and you may decide to yourself, you know what, I've been dating this person for whatever length of time, and he's beginning to ask questions and I don't know what to do. Please, please, please do not go to the jaded friend who's going to go and tell everybody, oh, you never get, no, don't find her. Go to those who are in your inner circle and speak to them and let them know that I'm telling you this because I know this is a safe place. We trust one another here. And when I say what I'm going to say, you're not going to judge me. You're not going to. And you're given the opportunity to speak. And once you've done that, as we were talking about this question earlier, once you've had the baby, you can't push it back. You can't say, I've had it now, so send it back. No, it's already out. You've said it. It now can't come against you. So choose where you decide that you're going to run it by someone before you actually go and tell, your significant other. And then when you decide what it is you're going to say, you can decide as much or, you know, or as little, whatever you decide to tell them, let it be on your own terms.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't be sidetracked into thinking, you know, I'm going to lie. Don't do that, because once you've done that and the lie comes out, all you're going to do is make things worse, because it is better to speak the truth. My father used to tell us when we were growing up, speak the truth and shame the devil, which is true. So tell your truth. If the person doesn't want to bite, then guess what? They were not for you. But perchance they are, and you want to make this work, then there are things that both of you are going to have to do. And the most important thing that you will have to do is to forgive yourself, as we spoke of last week, or the other week when we were on. Forgive yourself for whatever it is. And then once you've done that, then you know what? Then begin the journey of healing. And once you've healed and you've got it out of, that is now not a problem, you can get on with your life, and then it won't matter.
Do you know what it is about this particular girl and this particular story? And I love what both of you are saying. You're saying, look, get a healthy network of friends.
Yeah.
People, and if you don't have them, join the BSN, because we've got such a sorority there. And I'm unashamed. I'm unashamed. There's no shame about talking. We're not talking about shame anymore. We're not going to keep it a secret.
It works.
It
does work. It does.
The friendships, the sense that
on the tin.
Yeah, and the fact that you won't be judged. So if you don't have naturally friends who have your back, join the Black Swan Nation. So, and that is key to survival, because we're discussing that today, and we're saying, my gosh, if we didn't have each other through some of the stuff we've had to endure in our personal relationships, in our personal lives, just somebody to say, hey, I got you, you're a good woman, you're a good woman. And what I really loved about what you were saying, Coach Unique, is you didn't sort of elaborate on it, but what I picked up on was this idea that when I am ready, I will tell you. I think sometimes when a person we're in a relationship with sort of hears about something or is concerned about something, we always feel, I better give an explanation right now. Right? But actually,
it puts you into that space, doesn't it?
Yeah, you kind of feel like
I need to say something. I need to say something
I need
now.
to rescue this.
Yeah.
And the truth is, let's face it, you have autonomy and sovereignty of yourself. You owe no man anything or woman. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but I tell you who you owe is yourself. We have a huge debt to ourselves. Now, what is this opportunity presented to this young lady? This opportunity is neither to win the man or lose the man. The opportunity is for her to face her demons. Right? The opportunity, whenever we're being asked to tell the truth, and it's so hard, is that our demons have finally caught up with us. Right? The guilt, the shame, the fear has finally come to the fullness of its thing, and we have the opportunity of stuffing it down with a lie. Or telling ourselves the truth. Remember the video I did about radical honesty? Once you are comfortable with telling yourself the truth, telling him the truth is not going to be that hard. And I remember a story when I was divorcing from my ex-husband, and he was the first man that ever been intimate with. Oh, hello, ladies. Good to see you.
Hi, everyone.
He's the guy that I've been intimate, and I really prided myself on being a virgin bride. A virgin bride. I was so pure, So, but I remember in that marriage thinking, oh, I'd have loved to try this and try with that. And I felt like, oh, you little whore, you little slut,
How dare you
have those thoughts, you loose woman, And I remember when I was, kind of leaving the marriage and talking to my sister, and I don't know what we're talking about. And I was like, I think she kept hearing out of my mouth. I kept going, I don't want to be a slut. I don't want to be a slut. And then she turned around to me, I'll never forget this because it's so transformational. And she said, Chengi, what if you are a slut?
And then what?
Then what?
Do we send you back?
What if you are? What if you are? And it was almost like I've been so busy resisting it that I actually never really asked myself, because I was in this state of resistance. And it almost let me lose, because one thing I know is that God says he loves truth in the inward parts. And I know that whenever we're honest with ourselves, God shows up, right? And because I was pretending, I was so busy with my avatar, putting this godly, sweet little thing, girl. I invested all of my energy into that and not realize maybe I could be a slut. Maybe I could be. Maybe I'm that girl that just enjoys different men, different times, different seasons. Maybe I wasn't made for marriage, but if I'm saying, okay, God has that stuff, then maybe God should take me from Slutville and take me on a journey to where he wants, but at least let me acknowledge where I am.
And I was just, what reminded me was, you know, like how when we talk about all these great men in the Bible, so and so did this, and obviously the example we always use is David. David was a man after God's heart because he was true to himself on the inward parts. He never once nah, listen, God, I'll put you over here for a minute. Let me go and do this. He was so truthful and so honest. And I think that's sometimes the hard part. To really be honest with yourself. And I think, like, you know, with this young lady, it's like one of those things you think, look, so what if you had this past that you feel like really ashamed about, that you don't want to tell? So what we're talking about today is really, when is the right time to tell secrets? And I think there was a comment that said honesty is the best policy. It is a great policy, as long as you know what your honesty is.
If the moment you can look in your spiritual mirror and see your truest self reflecting back to you and say, I accept you. I love you. I approve of you. The moment we can do that, no one else's voice, acceptance of us, approval of us, staying with us validates us.
Very much so.
You know, doesn't mean we won't get hurt if people, of course, we're human. When we're attached, the detachment process is very painful. But at the end of the day, it is not a healthy relationship if all of my approval comes from what you think about me. The picture you want me to be. And so many of us are in relationships thinking, what I caught myself in my personal relationship, being what I thought he needed me to be, because he loves a certain type of girl, and I am factually that girl. I'm an African girl. I am factually that girl, but I kind of felt like I was under pressure to be that girl. You know, I had to be that African girl that had African values, because that's what he wanted. But I am an African girl with English and Western ways, manners, breeding, right? I am still African, but I have Western breeding. I have Western manners. And it's so difficult when we catch, and I had to look at my proverbial mirror and say, no, you're an African girl with Western breeding and Western culture. It doesn't make you less African. It doesn't make you less Western. It just makes you the perfect Chengi in the whole wide world, right? You're not trying to be a perfect Yvonne or perfect unique. You're just trying to be the perfectest Chengi, because there's only one original copy. And when she goes, there isn't going to be another. And I found that when I accepted that about me, he stopped wanting me to be. He stopped, and I thought to myself, did he stop, or did I just start seeing things properly?
You
That's
know? The question to ask.
That is interesting, because you start to see things properly. Because if anything, the thing that is killing this poor girl, is eating at her, is the fact that she's thinking about what he thinks. And the fact that so basically, I think I guess give a little bit more into the story is they've already kind of had a conversation, and he said he's not comfortable with knowing what he knows. So, and he's voiced that. So what I take away from that is you've created such a safe space for the man to actually then come back to you and say, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm just going to process it, and I'm just letting you know.
But you know, there is also the flip side to that. And the flip side is nobody's innocent. You want to, or he wants to, knows that there's a secret out there that needs to be told. What about his? do you know there's that
Oh, yeah.
immediately
Yeah.
I said that
Even just him saying I'm uncomfortable.
with it.
What is going on in his head?
So
that's
yes.
kind of, you know how that's one thing that whenever we're triggered by something, how we now have to then look at ourselves. Why does that trigger me so
Yes.
much?
Yeah.
So in this instance, okay, we don't know how much work he's done. If he had a male coach, we would say to him, like if he was part of the Black Swan male, you know, our secret coaching group for men, if he was part of that, we'd be like, okay, well, you have to assess yourself. Why is that so uncomfortable for you?
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? This woman that you say you love so much has told you this, and you've told her, I'm uncomfortable. Why is it so uncomfortable for you?
Yes.
What does it mean to your ego? What does it mean to the men that are around you? Like, those are the questions that would ask them. And in the same case, thank God she's part of the SWAN universe, and she's a one-to-one client, and we can ask her those questions.
Yeah.
We can ask her, you know what does that mean for you, the fact that he said he's uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean for you, the fact that this thing has come out and you now have to address it? Isn't that a way of growing? Because there's a podcast I was listening to, I think, and you say that quite a lot of times. You can't deal with relational trauma outside the context of relationship.
Yes.
You have to be in a relationship for you to deal
face
with it.
relationship demons.
Yeah, very much so.
Because you're the thing is, just like any demon, you're not going to face being afraid to fly when you stand looking at them. Oh, it's going again. When you need to get into the plane, right?
Yeah,
you can't be afraid of heights by looking at other people climbing. You need to climb.
Very much so.
Like when we went to the Sushi Samba, and they've got this lift where it's like 30 something floor, and you can see, and that's when I realized, oh yeah, I am afraid of heights. Because you can see the world just going by, and you're being shot up, and you're having to deal with your height. I still want to go for the meal, but in that moment, I was like, because I don't want to deal with that particular demon, I looked away.
Yes.
But I was still experiencing it.
Yeah.
So I was in the lift. So this girl is in the relationship. She might not want to deal with whatever he thinks, but she's being whooshed up in the emotions of it, and then now being able to process them. And because she's got community, she can process them better.
I've got a question here, ladies.
Yeah, go on.
It says, thank you all so much for your comments. It's really great. Priya says, after binge watching your videos, I left my 16-month situationship. Thank you, ladies. You're welcome. Let's have the bell.
Let me get the bell.
We're going to get the bell. We're going to get the bell. This is the BSN bell. Yay. That's for good girls. So proud of you, Priya. So proud of you. You must call us, contact us, tell us how it all went, email us so we can hear your story. Definitely. Love that. We're able to help you get out of a situationship because you're worth more than that.
Amen.
What else I'm so happy I'm seeing you, lovely ladies. We're happy to see you too. Honesty is the best policy by Rebecca. And Coach Nadine, once I heard it is better to be yourself than try to be someone else, because regardless you'll be liked or not, so you should be your authentic self. Absolutely.
Totally.
And then Creole UK asks a question. Let's ask Coach Yvonne. Loving this, thank you, you're welcome. How long in dating or courtship process do you share your uncomfortable secret? What do you think, Coach Yvonne?
It's going to be different for each and every one. It all depends on how much you know you and how much you know your person. If you know your person, because here's another thing, you have to know them to know exactly what it is they're going to be able to accept or not accept. Because if he isn't ready to hear what you're telling him, he's going to run for the hills. But if you know that he's ready and he's got all the tools so that he can deal with what he's hearing, then you know what, he's mature enough to handle this. And so because he's mature enough to handle it, you can begin, instead of doing what I call, for want of a better word, vomit, means you open your mouth and everything comes out.
Everything out.
Don't throw everything at him in one sitting. You know, for the next 10 hours, you're just listing all your, your attributes, your goodness and all the things that you have done. Just bite size. Just give whoever it is as much as you feel that they can handle at the time. And when that's dealt with, then go on to the next. But you know them, know what they can handle, when they can hear it, and decide in which order you're going to tell them. Do you go with the worst of the worst of the worst first, or do you build up the process? It's like the flu, you know, we've all built up an immunity to it. So if, you know, just build him up slowly and just do little by little until you're ready to reveal what the big thing is. And also I remember my pastor of years ago, she said something. She said there are some things that it should only be between you and God. And if there is something in your past that you think, but I can't though, then you know what? Keep it between you and God. It's not that you're being dishonest. It's not that you're being disrespectful to him, but to preserve you, him, and your relationship. It's between you 100%. And God, and that is okay.
100%.
That really is okay for you to do that, because you're being true to you. And it is better to do that than you are so far down the path with him. Then they hear what this thing is, and then all hell breaks loose. And not only that, but we lose you in the process. And I don't necessarily mean we physically use you, but you know, your mind, your emotion, everything is now shattered. And the work that you did to build yourself up and get yourself there, it is not even a case of us finding you where we left you. We've now got to go right back to the very beginning again and start the process. And getting up, it can take years to do that. So know your person, decide what it is that you want to tell them, how you want to tell them, and then if there is something that you feel that, you know what, I can't, then it's between you and God.
Absolutely. What do you think is the right time?
I remember something that we said as well, I think, because we kind of had this conversation before we went live about how it's also well within your right to say, I'm not comfortable.
Yes.
If you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable to say. And he needs to know that there's certain things that I'm never going to tell you. It's okay.
And it's
okay. And we get this question a lot. Like, if you ask me about my body count, what do I say? And it's up to you. If you don't want to say, you don't want to say it. Because the thing is, the truth we also have to face, which we're going to tell you about in The Secrets of a Man's Mind. The man can't handle half the truths that they want you to tell them. They cannot handle. Like, they want you to be radically honest with them. But if honest is the best policy, but can you handle it though?
And this is what Coach Yvonne is saying, is know your person, know your timing. And, you know, for me, what I kind of heard you saying, Coach Yvonne, is there's a difference between exposing yourself and being transparent. They're two different spirits, energies, and mindsets. Being transparent is what you're saying. My comfort level comes to this point. I will share up to this point or not at all. That is transparent. I will never share my body count with you is transparent. Exposure is 150,000.
Like, are you sure it was like 200,000?
156,000 and counting. Right? That is exposing yourself. That is information that will not help anyone, help him, help you. This is where you end up losing yourself because now you are putting yourself under great judgment. But transparency is truly saying this far and no further. And, you know, it brings me back to this whole idea of the actual thing. Let's talk about the thing itself. There's some things when depends on the thing. Okay. So if I happen to have, and the person, but sometimes the thing too. And here's an example. If I have an STI that is transmissible, even if I'm on my medication, even if, because this has happened a lot with someone, it's come to my attention, and I've worked with clients like this who had herpes or HIV, or these are sort of transferable and they're chronic, they're not kind of going anywhere yet. I'm sure they'll find a way to be done. If you have something like that, the best time to tell, that's not a secret your behind can keep. Okay, this is a secret that needs to come out at the point where it becomes relevant. So unless we're jumping into bed together, why do you need to know? Right? But before we jump into bed together, I need to let you know. Okay. So if that's your secret, that thing that carries guilt, shame, fear with it, then that's when. You know, I've had conversations with my partner where he's told me things quite early, and I said to the girl, hello, I'm getting a lot of information. But he's always explained why.
Yeah.
Because this person lives close to me, and when they call, I don't want to leave the room and have a conversation in the bathroom. I'm a grown man, so I need you to know that there's Jane, Sally, and who they are, and what I did with them in my past, and why they're still here. And I want to give you full disclosure, because when I say Sally, you should still sit next to me and know that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's about his principle, and that's his what. So maybe he knew that his women in his past harem were gonna come through, and he's like, let me just, so this is the what element. And if this has, I would say, if it has a direct impact on the other person, it will impact their health, wealth. You know, if you've had an affair as a married woman, for instance, and the lover, and you've got the secret because you had the affair 10 years ago, and you've been able to hide it for 10 years, right? Then it comes out that the man he kills every woman's husband he's ever slept with, and your man's next.
Then you might need to talk.
That might be a good time. Or, you know, that man walks into the same office that your husband works in.
Yes.
Or they happen to be like old friends, and maybe in the time you met, they were just not anymore.
Exactly. You know,
pictures surface because people have iPhones now and they take pictures of everything.
Exactly. So this is possibly, and if, you know, I had a client who they were together, they separated. In the time of their separation, he went about his good life, and she actually slept with somebody, got ill, and then got back with the ex. And they're really happy together, but she kind of lied to the ex. She was like, oh, you know, I got this STI from, I don't know what story, I forget the story she told him. But anyway, he turned around to her in that moment and said, look, we were not together, can't judge you for what's happened in the in-between time. It's the really, really, really important time for you to be honest with me.
Yeah.
She didn't feel she could be at the time. She just blatantly, lied. And then obviously guilt, shame, fear, She eventually blurted it out 6 months later, and that was the end of that relationship. And it's been almost impossible. They've tried to come back together, but he can't get it out of his mind. So you have to know your person. You have to know. And I really feel like when somebody's pleading with you for honesty about something, it really means that it is their make or break for them. It's different from, would you like to tell me? But if they're like, I need you to be honest right now. I need you to tell me the truth. It is in your best interest, in my opinion, to share it. Because guess what? They're going to leave you anyway when they find out. And you want to know that you were honest and they chose you anyway. Right. So, yes, it might be a truth that they can't handle. Right? But how long are you going to live in this, oh my God, I'm going to get found out. And the thing is, when you tell one lie or you are cagey about one lie, every other lie comes home to roost. It just has a way of threatening you. Because everything we do is interwoven. There's always something. So, you know, for me, it's the what. What is the secret? If what I did will never affect you. Maybe I had a termination or an abortion, as the rest of the world. We've already said all the things that YouTube is going to flag. So I'm like,
out there.
Let's just go for it, right? Unless it has caused me to be infertile, but if we have 4 kids and I did that 20 years ago, and me and Jesus be okay with it and we're forgiven ourselves,
let's get on with
I'm keeping that between me and Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
so for me, it's how does it impact the other person? Like, how does it impact the other person? And if it's dealt with and you've learned your lesson and you've put it together and grown and learned from it, I have things that will go to the grave with me. Right? I am taking some things with me to the grave because they simply will not assist any of you for knowing. Any of my friends won't. It's not going to make you better people. And I think we all have that. And I love that we all have that because for me, it's what humbles each and every one of us. That
and it just reminds us of our flawedness as humans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we are not perfect.
Yes.
No.
And I think again, kind of going back to this beautiful young lady, this client, is that you have to remember that you're a human being.
Yes.
You did not foresee the day when you would meet whatever you did with your former partner and the things that are now coming out. It's really about, you did not anticipate the breakup of that last relationship.
No. Yeah.
And you did that hoping that just as much, let's kind of really address the whole thing of divorce. When we got married, we didn't get married thinking, oh yeah, I'll just do this for a year and then I'll kind of go on to the next.
Try it,
You know, you wanted to do that for life.
Yes.
You got into that dress, you went to the courtroom and you said till death do us part, and you meant it in that moment. You're like, no, I really want to do this.
Yes.
So it's that whole thing where you have to cut yourself some slack again. You are a human being. You are going to err. You are going to have faults. But it's in allowing yourself to accept that you are that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are not a perfect human being. And that is why we have the way God has built is like you have community around you to support you because you're not perfect.
Yes.
He didn't make us to be perfect in the first place because if we're perfect, then we wouldn't need him, we wouldn't need each other. We'd just be on our own little islands all doing our own thing. We'll all build our own roads. We'll all build our own roads. We'll all build our own cars. We'll all build our own chairs. No one will need anybody.
Yeah.
But the way we are built is to communicate. And I love what this young lady is going through because this will be her make or break elevation moment.
Oh yeah.
Because it will just take her. Should he then
Yeah.
decide, no, you know what, after thinking about it, I want to be here. This is her now baseline. You know, this is where I am. I can only go better from here.
Yeah.
So it's that whole place where, besides the honesty and everything else, we have to cut ourselves some slack.
Very much so.
And remember, we're human beings.
100%.
Very much so, because you know when you talk about perfection, it's there was one person who was perfect in every way, and unfortunately he's not with us anymore, and his name was Jesus. And so unless you're him again, then there isn't any. And then if somebody comes along and they want to know what your secret is, and they're saying, but you know me, I have none, I'm perfect because I've never done anything wrong, then you know what, you should run for the hills, because I'm sorry, there is no such thing. We all have sinned and fall short. And it's the scripture that, you know, the woman caught in adultery, and when Jesus said, okay, you who's with the first without sin cast the first stone. And if there's anyone who can do that, then
Indeed. What is let's see, is that old timer? I
like that.
I believe that certain things shouldn't be told to anybody. There are things I will not reveal to nobody, but God knows about it.
Amen.
You guys look lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then we've got a little bit of peace question. We'll see if we can answer that, which is any advice for single young mothers who are navigating the crazy dating market? So I'm just going to let you think about that. Actually, you know what?
That's actually not off piece.
Is it
because
not?
In some cultures, I remember actually have an incident that I know of where the woman went to meet a new man, and the mother told her, do not tell him about your child. I'll keep your child, you go off and you marry this person.
Whoa.
And then we'll introduce her later.
Oh my goodness.
And what then that created is, so they had this new family, and I've seen it in quite a few films, but what it's now created is this whole scenario where she didn't talk to her step siblings for a while because she had been put aside because grandma.
Wow.
You know, and I think as well, because I'd seen that. So when I had my child, so at some point my daughter went to live with my parents, and anytime I'd meet someone, I'd always be scared to say I have a child. So it's not necessarily of peace. It's those secrets, again, because the culture that I come from, you don't talk about those things.
Yeah.
You don't talk about your body count, your whatnot. But if there's a child, so there's evidence. There are some instances where the child is even taught that's your sister, and the grandmothers are raising them as maybe the last born.
Yeah.
And they grow up thinking that, no, my mom is my sister. And I've seen so many movies that are saying, so it's something that's happening within culture. There are secrets that we keep that cannot be hidden, and it does so much harm for the child. It does so much harm for the new relationship, because later on he then finds out, oh, you have a child. I think they maybe find out just before they got married. You have a child. Oh yeah, lives in the village with the grandma. So already there's that distance. The child would come over the weekends, and it's just creating this whole scenario of like, you are really not part of this family.
Yes.
And unfortunately, again, it's because of our cultural backgrounds, what the women have been told.
Yeah.
So again, I guess single advice for lone parents raising their children is just always be upfront about, it doesn't have to meet the child. And the way I started dating afterwards, after I became a black swan, is I'd always date around my child's schedule. If she's in school and I have to pick her up, I'd also say, no, I can only meet you for breakfast or lunch because I have to arrange for childcare. I can only meet you on a weekend because my daughter will be at her dad's. And also, I would say it is a matter of factly because that's my normal everyday life. So already there's that honesty that if you're coming into my life, this is what you're going to have to contend with. I cannot go away with you, even if 2, 3, 4 years down the line, we decide, okay, we're doing this. If I'm going away with you, my child is coming.
Yes.
Because she was at that age,
Yes.
she's 5, I can't leave her with anyone. Childminders would have cost me the cost of the holiday itself.
100%.
So it's one of those things. So again, so it's not necessarily an off-piece kind of thing.
Yes,
So
yes, you're right. Absolutely.
The honesty has
I
to
can
just
see
be
that.
there. Yeah.
And you know, dating with a child is not an easy gig.
No.
But what you said is key. I really feel like it, like you said, goes back to the whole narrative of what is your guilt, shame, and fear around it. Like let's fix that, because to be honest with you, I know we've had a lot of stuff in the manosphere telling women that you're damaged goods, you're half the piece, you're third rate, whatever stories that I am praying will change.
Yeah.
And I think we now carry this I am the bloody leper along with us when we have a child. And I was having this conversation with somebody who was a fan of a certain person in the manosphere who was sort of leading that movement. And I was like, do you realize that for that person, I should go and jump off a bridge?
Yeah.
Like, I should jump off a bridge, because by the time I get evaluated, I should jump, because I'm a single mama who's divorced over a certain age. Like, already my black swan behind.
And you got your own business.
Oh God. Oh God.
So you shouldn't even be trying to ask to date.
No, I should just find some absolute loser and just be content.
Not even that, because you're not worth the loser according to what you were saying. Like just go and read your books.
Basically, just go jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to relationships, just not you,
Just
girl.
stop it.
Unless you're a certain age and you've got a certain kind of body, a certain kind of shape, so you know what I mean. So that messaging was so powerful and so potent. Like the amount of clients that would come to me who were within the realms of should stay off the bridge, still felt they should jump off the bridge. You know, and I think that with that level of messaging, we end up feeling shame to find love, but we need love too.
Yeah.
And our children need the love that a man gives us.
Yeah.
Because the man is supposed to love his woman, love his wife, and then she's so abundant it overflows to everybody.
Yeah.
And an unloved woman makes a terrible wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mother.
Yes.
If you're an unloved woman, you're a terrible mommy. So somebody says may soul rest in peace. I don't think we mentioned any names, did we?
Sorry.
Somebody said may his soul rest in peace. I'm like, I didn't mention any names. But whoever that is, indeed, God rest.
And there are a
his
few. It's
soul.
not just one person.
Oh
There
yeah,
are a few.
it's a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just purported mainly by certain individuals. But going back to where we're going, you know, we already had it in our. I think the reason the message was so potent is for the reason that you were saying.
Yeah.
We already had it in our cultural DNA that you're now damaged goods. Let's
Yeah.
hide the baby and pretend like you're
Yeah.
fresh from the factory,
Yeah.
right? So once we deal with, and then of course, if somebody from the outside of you says it, then it reinforces that inner world, that outer world, and now it must be the truth.
Yeah.
You know, the reality of it is, yes, when I've got a video on the channel when you're dating as a single mom, please go find it. Because I talk about safety measures, because I saw some comments here on safety. You know, I am with what's his name? Think like a lady, act like a man.
Oh, Steve.
I'm
Harvey.
with Steve Harvey on when to introduce them. I think especially when they're younger, sooner rather than later, because you can't, if your kid doesn't like him, it's not a good idea to keep him around. I really, there's no.
And the thing is, children are always good judges of character.
They're very
We had another conversation when
Today.
I dated someone and literally got picked up from the airport, and my daughter was in the car, and she would not even, she was like,
Just snarling at him.
Snarling, she just changed the whole body language, and that informed whether I was going to date him or not. So, and that's the thing, it's like you have to consider your children. Safety first. And it also stages as well, because now she's an older child, she's 16, 17. In a few years, she'll be moving away from home. So you also date differently as well. So I guess in answer to that, it really depends on the stage your children are at.
I think when they're at a place where they can't reason, you can't reason with them. My son is now, when he turned 14, 15, 16, I didn't have to introduce him straight away. He just needed to know there was somebody, because he's at that stage where we can reason together. He can tell me his actual thoughts and break it down, and I can tell him, and he can accept my decision without feeling rejected. But I think when they're young, they're gonna show you, I do not like that person, and you really have to consider that. You know, as a mom. For me, anyone that my son did not like, and thank goodness he likes a few, I introduced him to him too. I would definitely say, look, wait till you guys have a thing, like a thing. You know, make sure that you're in a relationship, something exclusive, monogamous, or at least on the way to there, and just introduce him as mommy's friend, not mommy's boyfriend or whatever,
and in an open space
go
as well.
somewhere,
not at home.
like in a kids friendly place. Like I always say, don't meet where you feel comfortable. Go to a play area or something and let him meet you guys there, and then you can say, oh, this is my friend and he's come to trampoline with us. Most kids are gonna be open and willing to, you know, and you can see them public and you can watch how they interact. And then you will know if there's a future or not. So yes, we do have a few more considerations, but I do feel that as single moms, because I did this, I parked my personal life for years because I was like, my kids first. And now I kind of look back and I sort of regret not bringing in a masculine figure. That was healthy in my son's life, and not being as focused, and because if I focus, I can do it, because I think he definitely needed that. So, you know, I know he definitely needed that, and I needed to be that loved up mommy who was pouring into him.
It means that you're not having to take up the role of the disciplinarian. You're not having to do this to plan and become more masculine. So I have this theory where I always say, if you're a lone parent, get into a relationship as quick as possible. Because what being a single mom, lone parent does for you is it really pushes you more and more into a masculine. So the older, the more you do the role of the father and mother, it changes and shifts your energy in that direction. So now I'm actually now having to work through all of that. So I would find dating a lot harder. But because I'm a black swan again, might I add? So I can now shift between the two. I know I can be in that masculine role with my daughter. I can also shift and be in the feminine role with her when we're being friends. I'm picking up from work and we're doing things together. I can just be her girlfriend. And then I can become the mother and nurture her to make sure, have you got home on time, have you eaten, that kind of thing. So it's that whole balance that we're talking about again. So I'm now able to introduce a man into her life, into my life, because I've now learned the balance. But the dangers of being a lone parent is so easy. to fall into that.
And not only that danger, but there's also the danger of women raising boys. Because when you're a woman and you're raising a boy on your own, he needs that masculine energy in the home.
Yes.
He needs to know how to treat a woman.
Yes.
He needs to know how to, be respectful. He needs to know that, there are boundaries that a man can set for a boy, that we women, we were just talking, as we said before we came on, and I was saying that I've still yet to ground my daughter, and now she's an adult because I'm a softie, but my husband isn't the softest person, you know, and she would look, okay, and she's gone, and then me, it was.
And that's the thing, because again, you being in that position allows you to then literally inhabit fully your feminine, because you've got the masculine taking over that role. And it's not always just, there's so much more to it that we kind of talk about, and we address these things a lot more within the BSN, because we have a community of women who want to go on that journey, right? Because we can be talking, and sometimes it feels like we're talking in phrases that, okay, no, you need to inhabit in masculine energy, you need to inhabit feminine energy. It's not that cutthroat. Either you're masculine or feminine, you can have both. They can intertwine. They can tangle and tangle and intertwine. And you can be both. Again, bringing us back to the whole thing of accepting yourself. You can be all the things. Or what do I always say? You can want what you want and need what you need. But you have to know what it is that you want. For this young lady, again, going back to her, it's right now she needs the safety and the security in this relationship to be able to say, look, this is the story, this is what's happened. And also we don't really have her permission to give the full story. So we're not really going to go into too much detail as well, just to preserve her dignity as well. But the underlying thing is, it's a secret that needs to be talked about. And this thing needs a safe space. It needs a safe space, and which is why we always say, even when you're vetting, create that atmosphere where a man can bring his heart to you, because it's a safe space. And create that safe space for yourself, where you are able to talk and invite. And we're all looking for safety at the end of the day, right? Male or female, masculine or feminine, we're all looking for safety, but it just looks different to different people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very much so.
Wow, we've gone into everything so good. Let's read these and maybe call it a day. How long have we been here?
Oh wow, it's already an hour.
We
just over.
So we have, I believe this is Isra A. I believe being your authentic self with your partner is the most important thing. As much as you would not want your partner to keep parts of themselves a secret, they deserve the same. If you're not able to handle it, if they're not able to handle it, then they're not the right person for me, and it doesn't take away from my self-worth. I love your self-worth here, and I truly believe that authenticity, like I said, transparency and exposure are two different things. You know, I truly believe that authenticity is that in-between place, that beautiful balance where we can be transparent and true to ourselves. And yourself can be the person that's not ready to talk about it right now. That's your authentic truth and self. And sometimes we self-abandon, but I understand what you're saying here, that, you know, authenticity at the door, absolutely, I'm a believer in that. So well done to that. And if they can't handle it, for sure, I agree. And you know, Radiant Pineapple is talking to Old Timer. Oh yes, that's one of my main rules. I'm very protective of them and whom I introduce them to, including friends. You're a great mom. You're a great mom. The safety of our children is so important. Coach Nadine says, oh wow, this is interesting. And Stephanie Swan says, that was so profound, Coach Yvonne. No one is perfect, and we should run from those who think they are. 100%. Anika says, may he rest in peace. Amen. Lucille, absolutely agree. Creole UK says, thank you so much with 3 hearts. Lucille Anderson, my daughter, yes, you're welcome. Lucille says, my daughter has been a great judge of character. I walked away because of the uneasiness. They're so good. That she felt. I'm a package deal, no negotiating. 100%. 100%. We do not negotiate with our babies. Yes, my little ones are 5 to 6 is Radiant Pineapple. I think she's talking. They're having a conversation here, which is fantastic, and they're young and lovely.
They're creating a little community.
Yeah, and this is what it's about. Join Black Swan Nation. Let's have you in there. Lucille says my daughter was spot on. Lamanda Davis, good morning to you, Black Swans. Good seeing you. Good morning, to you. It's kind of afternoon now.
Afternoon, evening now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so dangerous. Especially when loneliness creeps on you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we can, when we're lonely, it can really break our defenses and make us not so sharp. But you shouldn't be lonely. Join a community. It doesn't have to be the BSN, even though I think it's the best community on the planet.
No, but okay, no, it has to be. Like, what other community would you join?
It has to be the BSN.
Like, where else would you be going? Like,
You know, but if, find a sorority at your church, at your community. Don't, the kind of Lone Ranger thing is always... never a good idea.
Yeah.
So find friendships and hopefully friendships with people who think the way you do. And Stephanie says, I agree, Unique. I've been in my masculine role for 20 years. It's hard to bring out my feminine side as much as I want to. It is. Hello, Black Swans. I'm a newbie. Welcome, Shadell. I have been blessed by the discussion. Please do talks about dating over 50. Oh, yes.
Oh.
And Radiant Pineapple Skincare says, thank you so much. Love from Texas. Fantastic. Thank you. We send love to Texas as well. And then Ania Anmin. Oh God, forgive me. Anim. Thank you. Hello, Black Swan Coaches. Love from Johannesburg. Yay! Hey, Johannesburg. Sending you love back. And Lucille, I've also learned to be careful how soon to share something because that can be used against you from the person who has a motive such as narcissist. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that you have to weed all of these things out in your vetting, right?
Yeah.
It's like you honestly... Look, we're not always far from judging each other because we judge ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
So you are going to feel judged. You are going to feel a certain kind of way. So you really have to vet meticulously from the very beginning.
And there's no harm in swiping left.
Exactly.
No
Even
harm.
after when you're in the relationship.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I think the one thing that we have to explain in exclusivity does not mean that he's going to be your life partner.
Yeah.
All it means is that you're focusing all your energy on getting to know this particular individual, and no one is going to be a third party. You're in this in the hopes of it leading to a long-term relationship, whether that means marriage for you, moving in together, whatever that means for you. Because again, we'll talk about this in your contracts, because once you have your own contract of what you want to be like in a relationship, what creates a safe environment for you, in the exclusivity, this is where you create the safe spaces.
Yes.
This is where you create those times when you can be open and honest with someone, knowing full well that this is just going to stay here. Should we go our separate ways, I'm never going to hear nobody talking about it.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where we really... This is where you need a one-to-one, right?
Yes.
This is where you need a one-to-one
Like, there's so
with
much,
a coach, because there's so many underlying
there's so many
layers.
nuances and layers to this story that I would rather have a one-to-one with you.
Yeah.
But obviously we're just talking about stuff in
general,
principle, really, because, you know, there's the question of, do you have the right to my story? Have you earned the trust to get access to my story and to that level of access? Because these are levels of access, secrets, and, you know, this is person trying to access levels, and then you need a code.
Like in a inner circle type of thing.
You need a password.
Yeah.
If you're still messing around at, you know, situationshipville,
it's not,
you owe nothing.
Yeah.
But if you've committed, are consistent, you show up, you are, you know, then I might owe you something, but not everything.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, qualifying is important.
And
so we're not...
just like in every relationship, like even like, you know, I think when we did the Nice Girl Rehab in Swan City, like you have your inner core circle, and then you have your outer circle, and then you have the ones on the peripheries. If you want to get into the inner circle, there's a price to pay.
100%.
I need to trust you.
And if you want to stay in the inner circle, there's a price you continually need to pay.
Yeah.
Just because you made my inner circle doesn't mean you can stay there. You have to show me those loyalties, that consistency over time.
And vice versa. So
Absolutely.
I have to show you that, right?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the whole thing of private memberships. It's like, once in a while you'll allow people access. You've got a visitor's pass and so on. If you hear about it, that's fine. But for you to stay in the core, you need to be paying your memberships.
Yeah.
You need to at least use the facilities once a month or twice a month. You need to at least show up for something and show, because some of the memberships you even need a recommendation from someone who's been there for over 10 years. So it's in the same thing. It's like it's like for you to be in a relationship with me that is that intimate, you're gonna need to prove to me that you can be there, and same as I need to prove to you that, you know what, you can trust me with your keys. I will open the door and close it how you like it. I will do the same for you. So it's all of those things. So like we say, there's so many layers to secrets and the sharing of secrets. Like all secret societies, there's so many secret societies out there, but only a few people get in because they understand the culture and the nature of that relationship. Because what you're creating within, almost kind of say, well, because obviously we're Christians, we believe in Adam and Eve. The way God made Adam and Eve was so that he could create a culture around relationships. This is the standard of relationships. So what you're doing when you go into a relationship, you're creating the culture of your relationship.
Absolutely.
This is how we do things. That's why you always say, oh, Swandas, that's my surname, this is how we do things. And it then becomes, this is how your children are going to be, your grandchildren are going to be. And it's we can't take it lightly.
Yeah, because what you're saying is actually what we both need to do is follow the rules that we have set. And once
the
we
rules
do,
of our culture,
and
isn't
that's
it?
it, yes. And, you know, if you're marrying outside of your culture, then you've then got to decide, okay, this is my culture here, this is yours here. Is it going to be a case of never the twain shall meet? The two of you then will come together and decide, okay, we'll do this, 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 and this, and we'll do this, this, and this, and put them together and have harmony with you agreeing on what you can have and what you can't have. Then you stay in over here and say, you know what, it's not going to work because no, it can do, but what it takes is conversation, and the conversations need to be going on. And once you've got that, then you know what, everyone is then prepared to follow whatever it is that you've decided to go with.
I love that. I love creating your personal culture. I love that, because I'm, you know, always talking about relationships by design, and I feel like we get hemmed into a type of relationship. You know, a marriage doesn't have to look the same as everybody else's.
Exactly.
You can create your marriage with your rules and your stories. And I always say that conversations are the sprinkle dust of every relationship. Relationships are made up of multiple conversations that are healthy, that are loving, and that create connection and intimacy at the end. Right? So if when we finish speaking, we're not more connected, a lot more intimate than we were, that wasn't a healthy conversation. But I would even opt for an unhealthy conversation over no conversation.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, I would rather not have unhealthy, but a messy one is better than none. And there's so much silence, and I feel like breaking the silence is is often breaking the power of guilt and shame. Because they can live in silence. They can live in the dark for a very long time.
They don't just live there, they grow.
I was just going to say that.
Grows, you know? It's like you can't just, it's like how they say the elephant in the room. I always have this thing of saying that the elephant might have started off as just a little thing, and the next thing, it's going to grow, it's going to eat. And it needs more shame and lies and guilt to grow. So you're adding to it. By the next thing, you've got some 10-ton thing that's got trunks through the door. It can't walk out. It's like it's going to have to burst out at some point.
Absolutely.
And then what that then does is it brings with it your emotional distancing from them. It brings, you know, it's that scripture in the Bible that says, you know, when you sweep a house, that you fill it, you restock it quickly, because what then happens is, you know, whatever it went, it will bring a circle round and bring 7 back with it. So you need to make sure that, you know, at all times your house is kept. It doesn't have to be in order per se, but it must at least be filled, and you fill a home with conversation. You fill a home with music and laughter and dancing and the silly little things that you have that you do for each other that only makes the two of you laugh. Those around you don't get it. It doesn't matter. It's yours, you know, and you do your relationship your way. And no one should tell you how you should treat your boo.
Yeah,
no one should say to you how you do, you know. He's yours, you know him.
It kind of reminds me of, like, again, the culture that we've grown up in is the whole Christian marriage, and this is how you're supposed to treat your husband. So wives do this, but it's a general sweep of, okay, this is the idea of how relationships should be, and if you stick out of this, you are out of the norm. But we forget that we're all individual.
Yes.
We can never, not even just compare. I can't look over at Yvonne. Oh, let's see how. Oh, okay. Oh, is that what you do for your hubby? Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm
Chengi,
gonna do
Is
that.
that what you do? Oh, is that what you do? Then I come home and I take all of that, and he's now vexed with me because, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we do with relationships,
Yeah.
don't we? Especially as women, and especially if it's not a community that fosters healthy relationships that are catered for you as an individual. We'll come and bring what my mom learned from her marriage. Come on, mom, come and tell me. And this is where you see the influence of mothers, aunties, and all that kind of stuff in your relationship. Friends, when they come in with their opinion and bring it in.
Oh, let me just
Yeah, go on. Have I touched something?
I was about to say, girls, I know we've got to go, but I've got to say.
Go on.
When I coach men, especially, because when I coach women, they're sensible and they know they need help. So they've come to me because they've got a degree of sensibleness.
Yeah.
And I'm not, but when I coach men and I hear how the women in their lives are moving, I am actually exhausted with saying she is getting bad advice from someone.
Yeah.
I can literally tell when she's trying to be herself and when she gets bad advice. And I don't even want to tell. I mean, I've got to impress this on you ladies. You, for the most part, many of you know 10% about what a woman should know about relationships. Many of us are happy with that 10%, or at least we're not prepared to do.
You know?
But 10% is the stuff that makes toxic. It's not enough. It's not enough. Okay. Then we go to our friends with the messed up 10%. I have seen, and I watch women hemorrhage good men, because the men that come to me for coaching, these men have worked on themselves already. I mean, for a man to think I'm going to go and work with a female coach who I'm going to submit to and make sure that I produce results for, this is not a man that is proud or arrogant or whatever. Furthermore, to work with myself or my coaches, he's not broke, okay? And my clients, they own mansions. They buy these men are men of
Substance.
and I can see women about to. I worked on a particular situation where I was really gunning for her. I really wanted her to make it. But it got to a point where even I couldn't help her. And throughout the whole process, I mean, the only way I could help her was to not help my client. You know, to be disloyal to my client. But I kept saying she's getting advice from the wrong people. I mean, the stuff she was doing. And because we all had aunties and we've all had advice from mummies and our girlfriends, I knew the kind of advice she's getting. I knew it. It was, no, don't let him do that. You what? No, don't. In fact, hold your ground. I'm thinking, girl.
The ground is gonna fold under you.
You know? And in one of the cases, I actually got to speak to the spouse. And when I spoke to her, I was like, you don't want this to end. You really love this man, but you're moving like you're crazy. Like, you love this man, but you are taking advice from all the wrong people. And I cannot tell you how much bad advice, bad communities, wrong communities, which is why we had to have the BSM. And I'm going to be unashamedly speaking about it because there's so few communities. I go into some Facebook groups and I think, oh my God, please don't take that advice. Please don't do it.
I know, right?
You know, like these dating.
And you kind of have to leave because you're like, if I say something, I'm going to be attacked here.
Like we go into these groups and they're getting these advice from these relationship groups and I'm thinking, okay, say goodbye to your relation. Just say goodbye to it if you follow that advice, because the 50 women's opinions that are uneducated, that I just feel like we need to stop celebrating ignorance.
Yeah.
Because I was that girl.
There's this saying about how in this generation, ignorance is a choice.
And with that, we bid you farewell.
You were just about to say something.
And with that, ladies, we hope to see you.
You know what to say when I was a girl, you were saying something. I didn't want to end it like that.
Oh, no, I forget. I mean, it was so beautifully
That was just beautifully put.
I'm sorry.
Period.
I didn't mean to
Finished.
cut it like that.
No, that was you can't improve on that. No.
Yeah, let's just find communities that are healthy, safe. If you are obviously watching this and you subscribe to this channel, if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. And if you're watching this and you watch this consistently, we've put some of the best content on YouTube. But again, remember, ladies, our content on YouTube, because we got told of the other day, because our titles have changed and they're misleading to women. We have to be really careful with titles so that everybody gets our videos. And we really need you to press that like button so that our videos are shared. And share and do all that Black Swan magic stuff that we do. But, you know, we really looking forward to seeing you at the Secrets of a Man's Mind, and always and forever inviting you to have a one-to-one with us. Even one call is incredibly transformational because our content is in general, okay? It's in general. What we need, I remember, God, I've got so many stories. This is a quick story. So I'm talking to this woman and she's giving me this general thing. So I said to her, look, she was talking about a guy she was dating. He wasn't that keen on he wasn't that keen on her daughter. And she seemed to think that was a problem. So I said to her, look, book a call, let's talk about it. Turns out in the call, she found his jacket pockets with little girl knickers in his jacket pockets. And she's wondering, how can she make him get along with her daughter?
I don't believe you.
I actually said to her, am I being punked? I was like literally looking around the room because I was sure that I was being punked, right? I say that as an extreme case, but only when I get on a call with you will I ask you questions that you didn't even think to ask yourself. Will we ask you questions you didn't even think to consider? So yes, we're here to, we just do the best we can with content, making sure that it's as relevant, as nuanced as possible, so that we can help you with every single detail, that, you know, so that it's free and nobody gets to live ignorant, like Coach Unique just ended the last part of the video. But, you know, booking a call, that's how we work. That's how your story changes.
Yes.
That's how your narrative changes.
Yes.
And, you know, I want you to try it. And all you have to do is go to the website, blackswanrelationshipacademy.com, and go under Discovery Call, and you can choose any of the coaches.
I've just put the link for the Secrets of a Man. So I'm just going to put the link for the Discovery Call as well.
So, you know, if you've never done it, save your pennies, your pounds, your
dollars,
your cents, your dollars, and just treat yourself to a call, because it's literally transformational. And we want to be able to meet you. I love meeting swans. We love meeting you. We love sharing your stories. So do that. And be at the free mastermind. It's for you. It's for you. It's free and it's for you. So let's be at the Secret of a Man's Mind. The VIPs we're gonna have some men in there giving us some of their unfiltered opinion on certain matters. So if you want to be in the VIP section, which is the section after the free call, book the VIP. If you want to upgrade, just let us know, send an email and we'll upgrade you. But it is absolutely free. All you have to do is show up. And you can shop in your bedroom, you can shop in your bathroom, you can shop in your car.
But show up.
Just show up, because we're going to be sharing so many of the things about what we're discussing today, about the secrets of a man's mind. So from me and
Coach Unique
and
Coach Yvonne, have a
take care of
wonderful
you.
week. See you next week.
Bye. Now somebody's got to turn this. I'll have to do that.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.